Hey.
How are you?
Good, Marley.
Missed you last night.
I know. Do some coaching.
That's what I
This time of year, I usually miss,
it's a lot
a
of,
time or two because
can't keep
all
up
the
with it all.
coaching duties I got. The
How are
kids,
your kids doing?
the basketball kids, pretty good. Yeah, I think we have a chance to maybe win at the end. So
Are you, what age are you coaching?
seventh grade,
Seventh grade?
middle school, yeah,
And what?
middle school,
Middle-
seventh
yeah,
grade,
just middle school.
yeah,
You just do the seventh.
seventh grade, yeah, yeah. By the time they're done with me for that 1 year, they're ready to move on to somebody else.
But you know, down there, the lower grades, learn how to do this right.
Yeah, we try. A lot of drills. A lot of fundamentals. So we're hoping they're able to dribble the ball by the time they're in high school. What's that? Well, no shave November.
It's 6 o'clock. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And everyone turn on your microphones, turn your cell phones off. We'll have roll call.
Mayor Schomburger,
Here.
Councilor Bain,
Here.
Councilor Baker,
Here.
Councilor Becker,
Here.
Councilor Dykes,
Here.
Councilor Quinlan.
Here.
Everyone has a copy of the minutes of the meeting of November 14th. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, they stand approved as submitted. Visitors and delegations. Dan Scalisi.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Do I need to turn this on?
Yep, turn that on, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors,
Good evening.
city staff, and audience. My name is Dan Scalisi. I'm here on behalf of the Hot Air Balloon Committee, which for many years we've hosted the Hot Air Balloon here in Brush Festival. And we've decided not to do that anymore. Hot air ballooning is kind of a fickle entertainment, and it depends on Mother Nature and the weather all the time, and it's getting more and more difficult to make sure we can do that. So we've just decided to stop doing that after a number of years. We've had successes and failures both with the weather, but what we'd like to do is, we can't do the Hot Air Balloon Festival on our own. There's a committee of 3, but we rely on the city to help us, and they've helped us every year. That would be Lance and Recreation, and they help put up the tent and make sure everything is okay at the park. And of course, we needed the fire department there because we're dealing with propane, and there's always a potential for accidents. So they've helped us over the years. And in disbanding this organization that we've had, or the committee, we've ended up with some funds, and we've decided to just divide those funds in half, give half to recreation and give half to the fire department. So at this time, I'd like to give Lance a check for recreation and a check to the fire department for whatever use you all determine is meeting your needs. So I want to thank you on behalf of the committee for all these years of me calling you and bothering you and not giving you a whole bunch of lead time to have the fire department there. So thank you again, appreciate it, and I'm done. Thank you again.
Thank you. And it was a good event when it was there. Thank you. Are there any other visitors or delegations? Anybody else not on the agenda? Now would be the time to talk. Moving on to management, recycling agreement between Morgan County and the city of Brush.
Okay, in your packets, there is a copy of an agreement between Morgan County and the city of Brush for recycling. And specifically, it's the cardboard recycling program. This is an agreement that we have had with the county for a number of years, and it's the year to just re-up that agreement. It's worked out very, very well. And if people have clean cardboard, and they break it down. We have the bins across the street next to the post office, and you just put it in there, and then a couple times a month, the city solid waste crew, they'll take that to the landfill. The landfill, they have a special compactor that packs it all together and binds it up, and then every so often they'll take that to Denver or they'll have it picked up. And then it's not very valuable, but there is some value to cardboard. And so we've agreed to, if they manage it and bundle it, if we bring it to them, we'll split the proceeds 50-50 with them. And I think the last rebate we received was about $2,000. And so it's worked out very, very well. And so just requesting the mayor sign the agreement so we can get that back to the Board of County Commissioners.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to approve the recycling agreement between Morgan County and the city of Brush.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
I've had a lot of people that really appreciate the city doing that too. They like the ability to go down there and separate things like that, so it's a great deal.
Yeah, we do that. All right. Roll call vote.
Mayor Schomburger,
Yes.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain,
Yes.
Counselor Baker,
Yes.
Counselor Becker,
Yes.
Counselor Dykes,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan.
Yes.
Finance.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve disbursements and payroll from November 14th through the 28th of 2016 totaling $282,466.95.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Roll call vote.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain,
Yes.
Counselor Baker,
Yes.
Counselor Becker,
Yes.
Counselor Dykes,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes. Staff reports. And as we go down the list, I think Monty's told you to include what you had in your work session for that too. So we'll start with Joanne.
I have nothing this evening.
All right. Travis.
Okay, I just have a couple things. First is a fee schedule. Police department really never had a fee schedule, so we've developed this one. It's not all inclusive, as we're still working on it, as we're finding things that some services need to be charged for that's not on here. So this is kind of a work in progress. When we developed this, we kind of took the lower rung of the typical fees. For instance, some fingerprints, people are charging $20 per card, some agencies. So we're kind of doing the low end of the fee schedule until we can get that built up. So if you want to take a look at that. And then this weekend, we had an incident at Shooters, just to kind of give council a heads up that we're going to be working with the state liquor licensing on the incidents that occurred this weekend. So
All right. Are these fees pretty common? Is this,
yes, these are pretty standard fees.
everybody tends to charge these?
Yes, everybody tends to charge them. And again, we're on the lower end of the scale with these fees.
All right. Thank you. Karen's not here. Lance.
All right, I got two sets of fees to kind of go over right now. I believe in your, I believe in your council packet, Andrew had included the cemetery fee schedule. What we did there was basically raise the majority of the fees, $30. We try to do this about once every 3 years. We did it 3 years ago when Andrew started, and again, it's up for that time of to raise them up so it's not such a big hit all at once. We're still within the area much lower than a lot of the cemeteries. I believe there might be a couple of the smaller outlying towns that might be a little bit less, but we're still very competitive around the area as far as the fees that we have submitted here to you tonight. Like I said, for the most part, they're all going up $30. If Andrew has anything to add with that, it's
Nope.
yeah, just something that we do every third year. So
The sheet we had was recreation.
Oh, in your
Yeah,
packet.
it's in your
Yeah, it's in the
packet.
packet. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So we're probably.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
The recreation ones, we wanted them to get to next.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, there's, we're trying to raise pretty much everything $30 in the cemetery fee schedule. if you go to recreation, as you can see, there's tons of fees. So I don't wanna go over, each individual one, but, the swimming pool, I've been working here almost 20 years now, and they really vary, probably only about between 50 cents and $1 since I've been there. So it's about time that we do up them. The maintenance costs are getting higher and higher each year. Minimum wage now is going up, so we need to be able to recoup a lot of those costs. And here next year, we are going to be upping them a little bit, and as you can see in 2018, a lot of our fees will take it an even steeper, just to recoup a lot of the costs that we have to do for personnel, also maintenance and all that. So, as far as the swimming pool goes, that's the reasoning for that. Youth sports, all of our, standard youth sports that are all recreation based, where we have volunteer coaches and everything like that, we are upping the fees next year $5. Last year they were $25. This year, this next year they're gonna be $30. In the past, I think the lowest they've ever been, or the highest they've ever been, was 20. So it's only been raising them $10 in 20 years. So not very much. We've done very, very good with what we've had for a long period of time. So, and as you can see, in 2018, I even have a little bit of a steeper increase as far as the recreation side of it. The people that are going to feel it the most will probably be the competitive baseball players and the competitive basketball players. We've been very lucky because of the foundation. They've helped supplement a lot of that money, and they still are. But the cost of tournaments, anybody who's aware of those, they're not the $200 tournaments anymore. To play in a tournament, it's $400 or $500, and the city can't just keep on incurring those expenses. So those have need to go on to participants. So we are going to be hitting them a little bit harder if they wanted to do the travel. The other option is to do away with all the travel leagues and turn everything into club. But then I just feel as though, especially in a small town, you start leaving kids out, and those kids, they really need to be involved in some stuff, or they get themselves in trouble, and then the police department's out to lose. So anyway, so that's our thought there. Adult sports, they should always cover themselves. I think even more so now, not only should they be covering themselves, but they should also bring us in a little bit of money. And our races are going to go up. We have some very cheap races for the quality that we present out there. The Brush Rush and the St. Patrick's Day race, those are two of the biggest races in the county, and we've always been able to get by charging $20, but or $25, and anymore, I think $30. Get yourself refreshments, music, tons of volunteers. I mean, there's a lot of staff time to do that. I don't think asking someone to pay $30 for a race is out of line by any means at all.
And a great T-shirt.
And a great T-shirt. Yeah. Joanne, the designer over there.
Yeah.
If you turn the sheet over, we can kind of get into the golf course. With this being just we've only been really a year and a half into this whole thing. So for this next year, we're keeping all the membership fees the same. We're still discussing some of the different costs for cart fees and everything like that. But then in 2018, and I put some preliminary numbers down here, but that's not really set in stone. But we will be bumping them in 2018, the membership fees there. We're really trying to get to our goal of 200 to 225 members. We've doubled it in a year, which I think is awesome. From talking to everybody around the area, there's people that are golfing now that have never picked up a club in their life, and they just think, hey, this is a sport that I can do. So it's gaining in popularity around the area, and I just think that with that, we'll be able to, in a year, up the fees a little bit without losing too many memberships. So that's what we're looking for in 2017 and 2018. And the final one is the community buildings, the shelters, and the campground. Start off with the JC building. Anybody who's trying to rent it on a weekend knows that you better call in January or February because it rents that fast. About 3 or 4 years ago, we changed the fee. It used to be $35 every 4 hours, and we changed that to $20 an hour or $125 for the day, because people were renting it multiple times during the day. And when you do that, we're responsible of bringing a staff member over there to check it, to make sure it was cleaned up. And so it's a lot easier for our staff, and it's a lot more cost effective if people rent it out for the day. That's why we have a pretty steep price for the hourly rate now. Because if we have to bring someone in on overtime to check the building in between rentals, it just makes sense for us to make that fee a little bit steep. So, as you can see, next year, we're looking at raising the rate from $20 an hour to $50 an hour, or from $125 a day to $200 a day. I don't think it's going to affect our rental one bit as far as people wanting to rent it, because that building's a premium. I mean, it's the nicest building for a family gathering or anything in the summertime, especially because with the playground, the swimming pool, it's air conditioned. I mean, people want it, you know. And so I think, and like I said, maintenance costs go up. I mean, I think this year our air conditioner went down, and it was a couple $1,000. So that's a big chunk of that right there. So we need to keep up with the times as far as the cost of these things, and I think raising it there will help with that, and will also be fair to the community that wants to rent it. The shelters, it was $20. You know, we raised it from $15 to $20 5 years ago, so raising it to $30 next year, I don't think is going to be a big deal. And then the big one that we're still discussing is the campground. It used to be free the first night, $10 each additional night. Well, we've done a lot of upgrades, and now we can have 50 amp campers. It's a very popular place. Plus, with a lot of the construction that's went on the last several years, there's people that just live there. So we're trying to deal with that issue, and we have the long-term camping. One of the suggestions that we have made was, with the long-term camping, was instead of doing $17.50 a night, really kind of up that. So the people that are going to be staying there are the true construction workers that will pay the premium price of $40 a night, and then we're recouping a lot of our costs, and plus the police department isn't having to spend all their time there kind of monitoring the people that should be in there and shouldn't be in there. So that's kind of the reasoning for that. And finally, the golf course, the room right now, we are charging that at $20 an hour. It changes, because if someone is there they bring 40 people and they're buying $25 meals, we don't charge them the $20 an hour also to be in there. It's just part of their meal cost. So it's something that we're trying to come up with a price structure that we get people to host their meetings there, and buy their food there, and get all their drinks there. But those people that just want to have a meeting space, we want to have that available to them also. So anyway, there's tons of different fees and everything else, and if you guys want to look through that over the next couple of days and give me a holler or come by my office, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about them. But that's kind of what we presented for the upcoming year, and also into 2018. Any questions?
Thanks.
I do. Were these the rates that were used to figure the budget?
No, the new rates, no, they are not.
No. They were not.
Anything else? Thank you. Thank you for that. Moving on to Tyler.
Mayor, City Council, just a few updates. I have no fees. But a couple things going on in town right now that I wanted you to be aware of, as well as the community listening right now and on the internet at future dates. With the chamber, every year there's a big Shop Brush First campaign that's done, and that officially kicked off this past Saturday on Small Business Saturday. A couple updates. I won't go over all the details, but on December 2nd, there's a open house as well as kind of a whole kickoff, or I should say a secondary kickoff at the library in the evening. On December 9th, there's some events happening around town. And then December 17th, which is the Santa Party. Typically that's been at the Sands Theater, but since that's been on hold, the library has opened up their doors, and they'll be doing 8th, a committee that's gonna be going around and doing judging for the window display contest with participating businesses around town. And they requested that a city council member or the mayor be one of those judges. And so it'll be at 4:30 on Thursday, December 8th. So if somebody would be willing to step up to the plate, it would be very much appreciated. You can just let me know over the next couple of days. And then lastly, there's a Monopoly game going on this year to encourage shopping in Brush. And if you're not familiar with Monopoly, it's a pretty common game, and you can look it up how to play it. But there's, it's a board with different businesses around town. We couldn't fit all the businesses on there. But you go into those businesses and spend at least $10, and they will mark that spot. And once you get 5 of them marked, you can drop that off at the chamber to get turned in, and they're gonna be drawing names for prizes throughout the Christmas season. So, just for your information, those things are going on.
Thank you.
Any questions?
On the second, isn't that open houses, there's some during the day with businesses as well at night?
There is, correct. There was one details I wasn't gonna get into, but.
It's
there
very
is.
simple detail.
Very simple
All
detail,
day.
yes. Couple of things included.
All right, thank you. Fire department, Ray.
Just a couple of things tonight. Saturday, we assisted the chamber with the hanging of the lights on the trees downtown. The only ones we could not get to were the big ones along 34. We could have, but I didn't feel the need to shut down a lane of traffic to get those hung. So I know Melody was going to get with the city to see if they could possibly get the big ones down 34 hung. We had a successful bingo, so I think we raised, in 4 hours between bingo and the raffle and the t-shirt sales and the 50-50 raffles, I think we were just under $3,000 for 4 hours, so pretty successful. We're working on getting more printouts of the building to send out to construction companies. We did it once before and we got one back out of the 4 that we sent out. So I know Greg stressed that we try to have a couple of them, so we will be in the process of getting that all put together and sent out. I know we got an update today from Greg that the December grant cycle is being put in with April, I believe, March, April, something like that. February,
Yeah.
so with the hope of having more money to dish out, so we will get that out and taken care of so everything's ready to go when hearings start. So other than that, that's all I have unless anybody has any questions. Oh, one other thing, we have elections December 27th for chief and assistant chief, so there could be a change at who's in command, so just to make you all aware.
City clerk, Andrea.
Nothing.
Okay, and city administrator, Monty.
Only thing to add to the fire department and the DOLA grant being extended is I did send all the council members an email, and we'll get with the volunteers and we'll strategize a little bit more about visiting with the energy industry, anyone who may have not gotten to yet about donations to the project. That'll help out with the grant application, since you get more points for the more that donate towards the project. So a little disappointed about the deadline being pushed out, but at least it does give us that opportunity to get a little more money raised for the project. Other item is the master planning of the old English feedlot. That's moving forward. We now have had a meeting with OEDIT, and we've discussed it a little bit with our economic development stakeholders group, and we want to bring OEDIT back to have a meeting with our stakeholders group as well as the city council and just brainstorm, strategize about the uses out there at the feedlot and what direction we want to go. And we hope in the next couple months to have that done. And my own goal is the first quarter of next year is start putting that master plan together after we've had these meetings and had all the input that we need. So that's moving forward pretty well. A reminder that the leaf pickup from Public Works Department and the Solid Waste Department, you can still this week put out your bags of leaves. And I know one person had 70 bags of leaves. It's quite a few. And our guys say, don't worry about how many bags you have, just get them to the curbside this week. And we've allowed that to go on October and November. And most of the leaves have come off of the majority of trees. There's a few species that might hold leaves a little bit longer, but the majority of the city, they're falling off the trees already, and we'll pick those up this one final week. Last thing is, the chief mentioned the fee increases. I can't remember if you mentioned fine increases, the fines, but that's something else that chief's gonna look into with the judge, and that'll be discussed at a later meeting.
Yes, in relation to the fines, I have talked with him, and he's just waiting until the court of record.
All right. Does council have any reports?
I have a letter from CML that, I want to share just briefly that, I hadn't, well, let me give you just a blurb about the background of this letter. Is when Rick and I were in Vail this summer, we stayed for the final luncheon. And Rick was, cause I don't know if the rest of you knew this, but he was given an award for his, credits from CML.
Oh, university,
Yes.
the only college I have.
CML
And a good one it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and so I got to wondering about, I think that Rick and I had just about gone to all of the same courses and attended the same conferences, so I called to see what mine were, and they had left off two, 2015 and 2014 of the annual conferences, and those are pretty big chunks of credits, so they're gonna refigure mine, but I was gonna let the rest of you know that you might wanna check if, cause I had been adding them up in my head as I kinda went along all these years, and it should have been somewhere around 34, I think,
Credits,
with
yeah.
Vail. And so, yeah, if it's not what you think it should be, you might wanna give CML a call.
Is there well, for the purpose of the annual review of the city administrator, is there a motion to go into executive session?
I move that we, go into executive session for review of city administrator.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go into